Well, here we go for bonus feature number 2 because Shelly can't remember things. Okay, so the last part in my discussion with Ian when I was saying, like, why are you guys being so obstinate about providing what people with disabilities need? What, like, why? Why? And I finally looked at him and I said, are you aware of what's going on with Parks, New Brunswick? He goes, what? I said, so are you aware of Brendan and Parks, New Brunswick and why you guys need to get on the boat? You need to get in the game here. He said, no, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, okay, so last October, this gentleman, Brendan, was hired by Parks New Brunswick. He's originally from Fredericton. He's been living in Ottawa for 12 years. He was responsible for ensuring that Ottawa met their accessibility standards, and they met all but 2. And part of that was COVID and a few other things. So, although he's disappointed they didn't meet all their goals, they did get really far ahead in Ottawa. So he was, I think he should be proud of that. And he was hired by Parks New Brunswick, and he came back and basically did a quick tour of the parks, went, holy shit, there's nothing. There's no accessibility here. And the few things that were listed as accessible, he says, these aren't accessible. So they go and invest all kinds of money in accessible washrooms, but the route up to them, the trail up to them is like gravel that wheelchairs cannot go up. Or you get inside and there's not enough space within the stalls for chairs to maneuver, or things like that, right? So they even went around and checked places and took down like accessibility designations that were in there. And they have a pretty big plan, and we were given some of it to look at and make comments on from the coalition standpoint. And there's actually even going to be video shoots and poster shoots, because tourism videos and brochures are going to include persons with disabilities and not just visible disabilities. And when more information comes out in the next couple of days, we're going to be doing a call for some talent who may want to be in some of these videos. So anyways, I said to Ian, so Brendan has been hired to come and make sure these parks are all accessible. And that will include things like Moby mats at all water sources and float chairs. The only place where right now they will not be able to do that, unfortunately, is New River, and it's the way the tide comes in. But they have engineering students from like 6 or 7 universities working on this as a project. Like, how can we make this work? So, they're not willing to just say, well, we can't do it and walk away. He is hell-bent and determined to figure something out for there. And there was something to do with Carlton Park up in the Woodstock area. But everything else they plan to have, except the parking lots and properly designated accessible parking, including parking for buses, and from there a trail to the features, to have proper accessible washrooms, accessible venues, blah, 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 the Moby mats and all this stuff. And to make that work, they also need people to be able to get to and from these places. So I said to Brent, to Ian, you're going to have your buses ready to go on this. You're going to have accessible buses at good prices so that tourists can take advantage, because if not, St. John's going to miss the boat. And that means your businesses are going to lose out on tourism moolah. And I said, and it's not just a little bit. They are seeing in Australia, England, and Ireland, where they have their federal Department of Tourism, but then beside that, they have a separate department called the Federal Department of Accessible Tourism that sometimes works on its own, but sometimes works in coordination with regular tourism. Within the first 5 years in all 3 of those countries, they saw a 35% return on investment. That is huge. That's when the government said, ooh, we want to do that. And guess what? Fredericton's getting ready. Fredericton sees that the Chamber of Commerce is working with their businesses. They want to make sure that when the Federal Disability Benefit comes in, that when the Provincial Accessibility Act comes in, and then what more federal tourism and provincial parks come in, and they're doing these huge tourism campaigns about accessibility. Fredericton wants that money. Moncton's working on it. They want that money. Apparently St. John doesn't. So the bus has to be the next big step. And I said, you got to get your act together, and you've got to get these buses. And that's a really good argument. And again, if you had met with us and talked to stakeholders, you would have known this already. So shame. And you could have used this as a reason to go from these 12-person buses to a little bit bigger, to more expansion. And there's so much more available there. I said, but you guys aren't going to be able to take advantage. And that's really going to suck. And you're going to have some businesses that are going to be really mad at you guys, So there's that as well. And that is something that hopefully we're going to be able to hold as a little carrot in front of them to make them get their act together. So I just wanted to share those pieces with you guys. Like I said, it was a frustrating meeting, and I feel like not a lot got accomplished, but that's not going to stop me from shouting from the rooftops, and all of us from shouting from the rooftops. And you know, we're not going to take it from this mayor. It starts at the top and works its way down, and I'm not telling anybody from the St. John area something they don't already know. But, you know, basically I'm trying to set up meetings out with Carla Qualtrough, Wayne, and I know, Shane, you don't like Carla, with Wayne Long, with a bunch of them federally, and I'm going to say, we gave them the money for these buses and they're not going to be successful enough. No, take them away. Take the money back. Same goes with the container village. I'm on Wayne and on federal MPs. I want the federal government to take back the funding they put in that. If they can't open up accessible, don't open it up at all, right? So, but we have to find out, because I think they've got a loophole there. But anyhow, we're on it. Stick with us. Keep helping us out when we ask, and keep screaming it from the rooftops and sharing these incredible instances of blatant systemic discrimination and systemic ableism against us. And we've got to be able to start pushing the bar a little bit further in our direction. So anyhow, that's my really long stories. Tried to break them up into short spurts so you can only listen to them as needed. I hope everyone has a great day. Bye.